Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. WBO heavyweight champion Joseph Parker's next opponent is set to be revealed at a news conference called for 2 p.m. Wednesday, November 8th, New Zealand time. So take away 12 hours if you're in the UK and it'll be late evening of the 7th in America. So see on screen, the advisory from Parker's Auckland-based promoter Duco Events gives away little, but it does mention Parker has been earmarked by Eddie Hearn to meet Anthony Joshua in a unification bout in February next year. I actually think this might be a little bit of misdirection on the part of Duco. It's only just been reported in the past couple of days that initial contact between Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn and Duco's David Higgins has begun. Given Hearn's suggested offer through the media was 20% of the purse split for Parker, and Higgins reacted angrily to that, I'm just not so sure that things could have moved fast enough to reach a deal that both sides are happy with. It's been evident from statements that Higgins has been making in recent days and weeks that Duco is looking to cut its own path and it won't be lowballed, as they put it. I do anticipate that there will be some time spent at this news conference by Higgins basically bagging Eddie Hearn and reiterating that if they want to fight with Joseph Parker, the offer has to be better, it has to be fairer. And they will have all the major New Zealand media outlets present, so it's an opportunity to twist the knife a little bit into Hearn's side and send a message. I could be wrong, but I'd be surprised if Anthony Joshua is next for Joseph Parker. But what is looking more likely is a fight with Australian Lucas Browne. He is 25-0. And why? Well, Browne's name has been surfacing frequently in recent days in terms of being Parker's next opponent. So Kiwi Box, he was fed a tip on this and he reported it a day ago. So he got the scoop there. Then today, Lucas Browne, he has popped up on social media through his Instagram feed saying he's just waiting for Parker to sign the contract. So I'll play that clip in a minute. For me, the proactive tip to Kiwi Box and Lucas Browne's coming out on social media, it appears to be the breadcrumb trail being laid to warm fans up to the fight. So the announcement wouldn't come as a shock when it does come. So I would expect one of New Zealand's top news websites before the news conference, if it is a Browne fight, that they will end up publishing a few nuggets of information ahead of it. It appears, to me at least, that this looks like a coordinated communications effort that is being executed right now. And judging from what I've seen on social media thus far, New Zealand and Australian fans in particular, they are right behind this fight occurring. It would probably shape to be one of the biggest boxing events in either country in recent memory. The Anzac Sporting Clashes, they are quite something, and this would be a huge event in both countries. I can imagine it being held in an outdoor stadium or similar in either New Zealand or Australia sometime in early 2018, from late January onwards to early March. That's when the weather is at its most settled, and it's the tail end of summer and into early autumn. There is one snag though. Lucas Browne is not currently ranked by the WBO. He is not in the rankings, not in the top 15. But given the way that the sanctioning bodies work, I could see him easily popping into the rankings magically in the next month or so when they're updated. But here's what Lucas Browne has had to say on social media.
How are we all doing, everyone in Australia and New Zealand? The fight that is coming up, or hopefully is coming up and waiting for Parker to sign it, is the WBO World Heavyweight title, either here in Australia or in New Zealand. So just if you can, get on social media, get on Parker's case, everything else. Let's get this signed. Let's get this happening. Yeah, there's a great Anzac rivalry happening with the cricket, with the rugby, with everything else, and now with boxing. So yeah, absolutely gentleman of a bloke. I love him. But at the same time, I want to knock his head off, and I want the title. So let's get it done. Let's get to see it, and let's get me and him in the ring and bat the shit out of each other. So I can't see why you wouldn't want to see that and why we can't do it. Let's go, Parker. Let's see what you got.
So on the surface at least, it does appear that there is some momentum in the direction of Lucas Browne being that next opponent for Joseph Parker. and we will find out soon enough. I mean, I just can't get my head around that. If he wasn't the opponent, why would he, knowing that there's a news conference tomorrow to announce Parker's future plans as next opponent, why would he even come out and say sign the contract? Otherwise, he'd look a little bit silly. I mean, that might end up being the case, but it doesn't make sense. But if it's not Anthony Joshua and it's not Lucas Browne, who would it actually be? And I really don't hope that they end up announcing that they've managed to secure some sort of deal with a Kyotaru Fujimoto type, because that would be extremely disappointing. I don't want them to wheel out that news, because that would be bad. Before I go though, I recommend that Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua fans in particular check out a Facebook page called Joseph Parker vs. Anthony Joshua, and the versus VS, so Joseph Parker vs. Anthony Joshua Day of Destiny. I mean, despite the ultra-specific name, this page is one of the best boxing news aggregators around, in particular for good heavyweight news. So it has a good cross-section of the most current stuff, so you can often get it there first before you see it pop up on YouTube channels. So I'd recommend checking it out. I go there all the time. But in terms of Joseph Parker's next opponent, would you be happy with a majorly hyped Anzac-style clash down under? Or do you think they should be holding out and keep working for the Anthony Joshua fight? Or actually, should they be working towards another fight entirely? Let me know. Drop a comment loud and often. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. That's boxing_squared. I'm out.